Before we go much further, could you please let me know how you'd like to be addressed? I've never sat this close to royalty, really, or to the aristocracy.
Simply Arthur.
Arthur.
Yes.
Well, welcome to Cheltenham, Arthur. It's wonderful that you are here.
It's absolutely wonderful for me to be here. And, you know, I'd have come even if I didn't have a book on. I would.
Well, we're delighted you are here, and you have got a book on.
I have indeed, yes.
Yeah.
How did you know that?
Well, because you're holding it there. And we're going to have a conversation, Arthur, but what I think would be wonderful, and we've all been desperate for this, is to listen to you read from the book that you've written. That would be wonderful.
I think that can be arranged, Fiona.
Would you care to do that to kick us off?
What now? Yeah.
Yes, now.
Oh, incidentally, I hope you don't think I'm being rude by having my hat on.
What's underneath your
Doctor's
hat?
orders.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you okay underneath the hat?
I'm not at liberty to go into why. It's a new drug they're trying out.
Okay. And is it working? It's not working?
It's not working.
Oh, dear. Would you like me to take that off for you?
I'll be all right, don't worry.
Okay. So what are you going to read for us, Arthur?
My book.
Okay.
I'm surprised you've forgotten that was your idea.
I know, I was being lazy with my language there. What section of the book are you going to read?
That's one thing the literary crickets can't accuse me of being.
So,
as the wonderful Julie Andrews said in the film The Sound of Mucus, I'll start at the very beginning. A very good place to start, Fiona.
excellent.
Chapter... a minute. It's guitar.
Yeah.
Laughing at guitar.
I know, they're very noisy, aren't they? Yeah.
It's not that then. Chapter 1. The early years. Wah! Wah! When the cries of the 1-minute-old newborn baby. Had the midwife possessed a tuning fork, she would be able to tell you that this precociously talented child, by now some 1 minute and 30 seconds old, had hit a pitch-perfect top C, a talent I still possess to this day. For you see, I was this small, precocious, and by now pushing 2-minute-old child. But perhaps I should explain to you how this miracle birth came to be. Let me take you back in time to a night some 9 months prior to the birth of myself. Mother and father, as I called them, were in pantomime at the Watford Palace doing a dog act. After the act, they went home and had sexual relations. And that's how a baby, like I was, is born. He was always good with dogs, was father. I think that's why he married my mother. She had a nice cocker spaniel. A ginger and white one called Nuts. I don't know why she called it that. Perhaps it liked nuts. There's nothing wrong with that. I like a nut myself, apart from Brazil nuts. Ever since I had a chocolate Brazil stuck in my throat in 1960-something, which led to a near-death experience. Luckily for me, though, I coughed it up and finished eating it. Not the last time I would go on to cheat death. Anyway, that mother and father would meet, fall in love, and form a dog act was inevitable. And they enjoyed some moderate success on the variety circuit. However, when I came along that fateful day that changed the course of so many people's lives, myself included, it was decided that father would go solo and do an act on his own until mother recovered from my birth and her stitches healed up because of my hat size. The act Dad decided to do was playing the William Tell Overture by hitting himself on the head with a mallet, with 2 cymbals strapped to his knees. After a few performances, though, he realised he hadn't quite thought it through properly, and he had to stop because it quite hurt, and he was blacking out and spending a lot of time in casualty. However, worse was to come. Much, 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 much worse. And I make no apologies for using much a lot in that sentence, because it was much worse. Much, 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 much worse. In 1939, Adolf Hitler started the war. Why? Well, we can only guess at that. He must have been absolutely mad. Carried away with the thrill of it all, my dad enlisted as soon as the magistrates made him. My mother, as I called her, was left on her own at a very vulnerable time, as if you want any more than that, you'd have to buy this other thing.